How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkiller and welcome to a new series we're going to be doing on Tyranny. A very cool cRPG game where the world has been dominated by evil after a great war and we are a member of the evil armies. Now, I'm going to put a couple of caveats in here. One, I've only had an hour of playtime in this game so far. Two, I'm very bad at these kind of games in general, so if you don't like seeing games played quote-unquote incorrectly, this is probably not the playthrough for you. But if you don't mind seeing someone dick around with a game that's very cool, maybe there's something to be had here. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? New game. And we're going to be playing on normal difficulty without any of this shit, because it's going to be hard enough for me as it is. Here we go.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spy master and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
You can count on me, boss. Also, I should mention this game is made by the same people as Pillars of Eternity, which was a pretty huge game in its day, and this game kind of made a splash when it came out. Also, this game is very dialogue heavy, so you're going to be seeing... It's going to be quite slow boil, you know. We're going to be doing a lot of reading. Go for... what do we got? This is like... big guy, skinny guy. I'll go for big guy. I'm a reasonably big guy. I'm very pale. I'm not as muscly as he is. Nowhere near. That would be awesome though, wouldn't it? Okay. Face. What do we got? I'm a badass Vegeta looking face. Ooh. Yeah, that one. With the big bushy eyebrows of doom. What we're after. Everyone knows my intentions. Alright, what do we want for hair? Scruffy? What's this one? Is that ponytail? No. That's pretty boy hair. Scruffy hair. Look slick back. Let's go with the slick back hair. I like that. That's pretty cool. Oh, we need a beard. We need a badass beard. An evil man beard. Sort of like that. Nah. What else we got? Handlebars. Oh yeah. That's how we know. That's how we do. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, let's go with this one. This one's pretty badass. Mm-hmm. Hair color? Black's good for me. Voice? Man, there's a lot of options. Male aggressive.
Got it. I'm
Come on.
injured. Have a look here. Trouble is afoot.
Trouble is afoot.
Flawless.
Flawless victory. What else we got? We could be female.
I'll just hold on to this.
That'd be weird, this guy. That voice.
Hard.
Yeah.
We must rest soon.
Nah. I like
On it.
aggressive. Let's go with
Found
that.
something.
Oh, tats. Let's have some tats too. You wanna look badass. Also, I should probably mention this whole first episode will pretty much be character creation. There is a lot to get done. Like, there is a lot of customizing stuff to do. That's pretty cool. Like that. What else we got? Yeah. Where does that go? I can't even see that. Face. No face tattoos for me, thanks. Tree. Flowers. Oh, these are pretty badass. Oh, black. Black on black with black. Yep. I like that. Snake. Oh, leg snakes. I suppose you're never going to see them anyway, because I'm always going to have armor on, but you know what?
Trouble is afoot.
Trouble is afoot. Oh, that goes on his face as well. I didn't notice that. I don't want that then. That's pretty cool. Like his arm's on fire. Ah, my arm's on fire. That's everywhere. Ah, that's pretty badass. Let's have that one. Yeah, now we need an appropriate portrait. Just so that people know what we're all about, you know? Just so they get a feel for what we're all about. Character creation. It's my weakness, you know? I like that, except he looks too nice. He looks too nice. No, we're not going to be nice, by the way. If you like being nice, it's probably not the playthrough for you either. Maybe this can be our portrait from when we used to be nice. Back in the day. Before shit went wrong and we turned into an arsehole. Today you are a Fatebinder, agent of the Archon of Justice. You are by no means free, but as a warrior, scholar, deputized with discretionary powers to interpret and execute the laws of Overlord Kairos, you are freer than most. One does not apply to be a Fatebinder. One is called by Tunon, the Archon of Justice. And to decline is death. Millions of men and women live in the dozens of realms ruled by the Overlord. How did you stand out amongst the teeming mass of desperation and insignificance to gain the Archon's notice? Pit fighter? I think soldier. Or noble scion, that sounds cool. No, we don't want to be noble. Soldier. And primary expertise. Okay, this is going to take a little while. So I was thinking greatsword. I know each one of these gives you a massive buff to your stats. So it's always best to stack them. From what I've seen. So this gives 6 to two-handed, 5 to parry, and 5 to athletics. So we probably want to stack two-handed parry and athletics. We also get to choose a ability that we're going to start with. We got cleave and we got sunder. What is the difference here? Delivers a powerful overhead attack that reduces target's armor. Hits multiple enemies nearby. That sounds pretty good. AoE attack is always handy to have. Alright, now we get to pick a secondary. I think War Mace is two-handed? I'm not exactly sure. Let's just have a look down here. So that gives us 8 two-handed. That gives us one-handed. So War Mace is like all stack, all on top of it. That doesn't give us any second abilities at all. But it does give us the ability to really power out these 3 stats here. And we should just focus each of our characters, because we're going to get other characters obviously. We can focus on one specific skill for each. I don't know, red? Dark red? Black. That looks pretty badass. I like that. What do we got here? Doesn't stand out well enough now, does it? About... hang on. That's pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe the other way around. I don't know if we want the swords. Do we want the swords? What else we got? Oh my god, there's so many options. Help me. This is not good for me. This is not good for my OCD. This is not good for my OCD at all. I want something ominous. Something intimidating. Yeah, metal. Just how I like it. Perfect. 10,000 fists in the air. Next. And our name is going to be Six Killer. Because, of course it is. Alright, now, Might and Resolve. I think these mean these are the ones getting buffed, or these are going to be our most important one? Yeah, these are the most important ones. So what does this do? Resolve determines a character's ability to endure physical and mental challenges. Resolve is the primary attribute used to derive endurance, will, and magic defenses. It also increases the duration of afflictions applied by the character. Might, obviously, is damage. More powerful attacks and stronger abilities, as well as increasing the endurance defense. And then what is Finesse? Mental precision. Finesse is used to determine accuracy of attacks and spells, as well as increasing worn armor's chance to reduce a hit type. That sounds pretty important for us as well. How often you can use your abilities. And Vitality is probably going to be pretty important. So I was thinking sort of tanky, but I don't know. I guess Sword and Board's more of a tanky build. How many points have we got? We got 8. I was thinking like 5 into Might, and then like 2 into Resolve, and then say 1 into Vitality? How does that sound? Vitality's just physical health, strength of personality, increases the will defense. So that's, I assume will defense is magic defense? Attacks that are mentally based, e.g. confusion. Resolve and wits attribute modified by... Yeah, okay. So it's like status effects or whatever. I'm not sure if this is right. This is probably an awful way to do it, but you know what? We'll roll with it. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got 20 points to spend here. And from what I can tell, two-handed and athletics is going to be the best. Parry is defense, yeah? Defense against melee attacks and spells. High skill ranks will reduce damage from enemy attacks and may lead to them to miss altogether. So it's like a dodge. I don't know, we got dodge here as well. Training in greatsword. Alright, so two-handed we'll put up to like, say, 40... I want athletics at 40, really, if I can get it there. We get this up to like... Have that at 40 as well, and I'll just put 5 in there. Law's really important as well for, like, coercion and stuff like that. But maybe I could put a few into law. Or 1 into law. I'll put 1 into law. Whatever. If we're lucky, that'll help us out. Or maybe it won't. I really don't know, but let's find out. Let's go. Alright, so we're going to do Conquest, which is the slow way to start. Oh, I'll read it. Selecting the Conquest option will allow you to play through Kairos' Conquest of the Tears. Choosing how your character was involved in the invasion, this gives you the most control over your starting state of your game, and how other factions will react to your character. We're going to do Conquest. We're not going to do Quick Start. We're going to do this proper.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Okay.
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Alright, so now we're in Conquest mode. This is going to involve a lot of reading, so get ready. During the Conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter, choose wisely. Alright, here we go. The bastard city stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears, built upon a natural harbour at the crossroads between realms. The city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears it was the centre of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status was a gateway to the continent, made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. Alright, you only get to pick one token, and then the other one goes away, and then the next set come out. So we have to choose which one we're going to do. Infiltrate the Tears, both armies sent their forces to prepare the way, or Gates of Judgment. In the first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies crossed the mountains and established a foothold. I think we'll do Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tears. The two armies brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. So we can choose the Disfavored or the Scarlet Chorus. I prefer the Disfavored, I think. Standing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite, you advance on the mercenary army, purchased by the nobles of the bastard city. The Legion wanted to send a message to the Tears that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. The bastard city learnt too late that a military is earned and never bought. The mercenary army quickly found themselves outclassed by the superior tactics and formation of the Disfavored. Those few who lived to the end of the battle were rounded up, the weak executed, and the strong enslaved to haul the army's wagons on the journey south. Alright, so those two go away, and now we've got two more events. So we've got 3 events to play out here in the Bastard City. So we've got Feeding the Host. You found a way to feed Kairos' armies in enemy territory, and we've got To Judge the Enemy. You decide the fate of enemy soldiers captured in battle. I think we'll do that one, that sounds fun. We're going to be a bastard, by the way, like a total sack of shit. Because that's how I like to play games, okay? Because I don't get to do it in real life, so I get to do it in games. The soldiers of the Tears fell by the hundreds, and Kairos' armies could not agree on how to handle the few survivors that dragged back to camp. Befitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those occupied prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. So this one says the Disfavored need slaves to haul their gear, dig latrines, and keep their pallets warm at night. You consign the survivors of the battle to their subservient role among graven ashes noble troops. Or you gave the prisoners the chance to serve in Kairos' army or die. The Scarlet Chorus was in need of extra troops to fill up the vanguard, and your former enemies would occupy those slots nicely. I think that'd be better because it's more men. Men's better than slaves that just make beds and shit. We'll go with that. Your army cooperative ex-soldiers with scrap weapons and toss them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survive were welcome to take up arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Kairos' military. After their first victory, you rewarded the new recruits with the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. Taking the Bastard City. The armies of Kairos amassed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tears to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost. The Scarlet Chorus howled for plunder, and the Disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle has carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both of the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which did you support? And we got a new one. So we got assault on the main gates, burn the city, or sabotage the city's defenses. I like the sound of assault. Oh, we get an ability out of this. Join the Disfavored vanguard in a direct assault on the city gate. So we get Warrior's Respite. Stand your ground in the face of defeat. During this time, you'll regenerate health rapidly, but your damage is significantly reduced. That's pretty good. We're just going to pick this based on abilities. Searing Palm. Gather heat energy in your hands and release it in the foe. The target ignites into flames, burning over time. That's pretty cool. But I assume that's magic, so I don't know. And what is this one? A mixed band of Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus. Okay. This is Concealing Shadows. Create a cloud of obscuring shadows and dust for a short duration. Enemies that use physical attacks around you have a significant increased chance to miss. During this time, your attacks will be less effective. I want to take this one. This Warrior's Respite sounds a lot better, so we're going to take that. With heroic courage and legendary determination, the Disfavored battered the gates of the Bastard City to splinters. Those who fell under the consistent hail of arrows or cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporarily, only to appear hours later as Archon, graven Ash's protection, healed their numerous wounds. In time, the gates gave way and Kairos' forces spilled inside the city walls with resounding cheers of victory. Done. So we will definitely get Conquest done in the first episode. If we have to do a slightly longer episode, that's fine. But we'll at least get this done in the first episode, and then we'll get into it proper in the second one. Anyway, the Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumours of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts and migrate south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as a judge and oversee the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. Lethian's Crossing sounds more my style. Let's do that. I don't like being an advisor. I want to be in the heat of battle, yo. That's what I'm all about. Here we go. Lethian's Crossing. Years ago, Lethian the Bold founded a small merchant town at the intersection of ancient old walls. A pact between settlers and a mercenary company meant that the caravans were able to travel without fear of bandits or bane, and the town thrived in modest insignificance. Lethian's Crossing drew Kairos' attention for the iron deposits in the surrounding hills. With the region under Kairos' control, the northern smith mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons known in the world. The Archon of Secrets dismantled the mercenary support with a generous bribe, taking the crossing in a bloodless victory. Tunon dispatched you to travel alongside Kairos' forces and bring order to the region. Man, I got a drink right next to me. I gotta keep drinking because of so much talking. Alright, now we get to pick one of these. So we've got the Iron Must Flow. You found a clever solution to improve production of iron weapons and armor. And this one is the Cult of Siren. The Archon of Song's power ensnared the minds of a disfavored soldier. Let's do that one. That sounds interesting. Siren, Archon of Song, used her arcane charm to lure locals into joining Kairos' army. As a patroness of the Scarlet Chorus, her efforts were critical to the conscription of new recruits. When an enthralled disfavored soldier joined her cult, his company feared that the Archon was growing out of control and needed to be stopped. So we got the disfavored demanded that the Archon of Song cease her recruitment practices and that they be allowed to violently subdue her cult of followers. The loss of soldiers was a significant setback to the Scarlet Chorus's conscription efforts. Or, in Scarlet Chorus tradition, you sent the latest batch of cultists to the front lines of the Apex campaign. Those who survived were welcome to remain in Kairos' military, and their performance would stand as testimony to Siren's effectiveness. I'm going to do that. That sounds better. I mean, as much as I prefer the disfavored, they seem to like throwing away men. We need men. It's all about men. That's how you win wars. Numbers. The Scarlet Chorus agreed to transfer Siren's latest recruits to the front lines of the Apex campaign. Your resolution fit their traditional model of conscription, so they considered it a fair alternative. In the weeks to come, more of them returned to active duty than ever Siren herself expected. Even Siren herself expected. Likely owing to their obsessive devotion to the Archon and her enchanting music. Alright, two more. The Red Anvil. A forge-bound mage swore allegiance to the Scarlet Chorus, creating strife between the armies. Or Ancient Threats. Who protected the city from the attacks of arcane predators? That sounds interesting. Let's do that one. Drawn to the arcane energy around the forges, mystical predators from the nearby old walls began to raid Lethian's Crossing at all hours. Both of Kairos' armies reserved their strength for the front lines of war, and yet the city required protection. You had to delegate the responsibility somewhere. So, we got this one. As the largest army, you tasked the Scarlet Chorus with the burden of security. The disfavored took the opportunity to gather their strength. Since the disfavored used most of the iron that came out of Lethian's Crossing, it fell upon them to stand as the city's vigilant protectors. The Scarlet Chorus enjoyed a necessary reprieve. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, we should probably do that one. If they're using the iron, it should be up to them to guard the iron. Though the disfavored were advised to your ruling, they couldn't argue with the reasoning behind it. They rallied in the streets of Lethian's Crossing, patrolling on alert in shifts that lasted day and night in an impressive show of force. They managed to repel several attacks from the predators in districts that would have otherwise suffered great harm. Able to do some good, the disfavored still detested you for keeping them from battle with their real enemy in the Tears. Who controlled the crossing? Tragedy struck when the mercenary hired by the voices of Narat injured a forge-bound artisan, leaving him unable to practice his craft. Tunon ordered the mercenaries to leave the city in the hands of Kairos' more responsible servants. Only a token garrison could be left behind while the armies returned to the front. As the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus showed increasing tension and hostility towards each other, Tunon decreed it be best that only one force control the crossing. Well, disfavored should control the crossing because they're guarding the crossing. That makes sense, right? And they're getting the iron from the crossing, so of course the disfavored. The disfavored placed a modest garrison in the settlement of Lethian's Crossing. Though the force was larger than might be needed to police a small settlement, protecting the forge-bound ironsmiths became the true agenda of the defense force, as these magical craftsmen kept the disfavored invasion force suited in iron. Relieved at the departure of the Scarlet Chorus, the citizens of Lethian's Crossing felt they got the least of two burdens. You received word from Graven Ash thanking you for your decision. The forge-bound and their weaponry could not be entrusted to the voices of Narat. And that's another one down. And that one's controlled by the disfavored now. I think we're being even-handed and fair. Alright. With the mercenaries expelled and Lethian's Crossing under new leadership, Kairos' forces congratulated themselves on bringing order to the settlement and guaranteeing a productive flow of resources. Over the course of the diversion, the army front advanced further into the Tears. Your skills were needed in the realm of Azure, Stalwart, or the Vellum Citadel. I don't know. What do these say? Stalwart. With its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the Tears. Vellum Citadel? Kairos' conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. Azure. Kairos dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. Stalwart sounds pretty cool. Let's go there. It's the most powerful, right? Let's do that. Stalwart. The realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kairos' force approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching the 2 years as its neighbours fell to Kairos' forces. On the dawn of the third year of war, Kairos' forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the Tears' most vaunted army. Oh, this is going to be interesting. What do we got? Marching on empty. Tragedy struck when a hungry Scarlet Chorus soldier appropriated disfavored supplies. A contingency setback. A stinging defeat led to accusations among Kairos' armies. Let's do that one. After a defeat at the hands of enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness. The disfavored claimed that the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until you gave a ruling. Knowing the disfavored reputation for discipline, as well as the Scarlet Chorus' powers to instill fear and frenzy, you decide that the Scarlet Chorus was in the wrong. Lacking proof that the Scarlet Chorus' recruits were negligent, you punish the disfavored commander for his failure and for bringing charges without evidence. No, we're going to go with disfavored on that one. The Scarlet Chorus were nonplussed to receive some censure, but aghast that the disfavored would not share in the blame. Soldiers hurled venomous accusations your way, challenging your impartiality and wondering where justice could be found. If not in Tunon's fate binder, they argued that reputation should have no bearing on law. Here we go. Next one. Negative conscription. Suspicions arose when Scarlet Chorus soldiers fought under the banner of Stalwart. Fall of the Regents. When an enemy commander fell captive, Kairos' armies argued over what to do with her. Let's do that one, that sounds good. The armies of Kairos collaborated on the capture of an enemy leader. The Scarlet Chorus requested that she be interrogated with the Archon of Secrets. The disfavored wished to display her corpse in battle. Since the Stalwart defenders refused to surrender, a gesture was needed to instill fear. So we got disfavored says, You ordered the enemy commander executed, her body displayed as a warning for those who would defy the overlord. You ordered that the enemy commander be sent to the voice of Narat for interrogation. We should probably do this one, because we need to demoralize this army because it's so powerful. The stalwart regent made for a grim display, lashed to ribbons and suspended on a disfavored standard. Yet the effect on the battlefield was immediate. The sight caused an uproar among stalwart soldiers who broke formation in the frenzy to answer blood for blood. The disfavored hewed through their disorganized ranks with minimal difficulty and cherished the corpse as the most useful recruit to Kairos' army yet. The Edict of Storms. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to the mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered his impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of stalwart leaders persisted in beating. Knowing that you had the trust of Graven Ash, Tunon deemed that you were the proper representative to deliver Kairos' edict. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Agreeing with the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaimed the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had ample opportunity to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone. In an attempt to integrate themselves with the people of Stalwart, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that warning be sent to the towns and villages so that the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. We should probably... I want to be a bad guy, don't I? Yeah, fuck it. Let's just go. Disfavored. You agreed with the disfavored rationale. The leaders of Stalwart had refused honourable battle, and too many disfavored lives were lost in the campaign. Since the last regent refused to leave the keep, you would let him watch as his people suffered. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal of Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Bye-bye, Stalwart. Yep, this is going to be a long episode. The Edict of Storms. The clear sky darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls, and what's more, the weather showed no signs of dissipating. Several units of disfavored, who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm, were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the Stalwart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it Bladegrave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kairos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marvelling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. Man, we turn that place to shit. We leave carnage wherever we go. And we're done. And now the game is loading proper. So that was the character creation. At this point, it's pretty hard to tell. But you will see. You will see.
The year is
Give it time.
431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance, but months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Alright, and the game begins. Now I'm going to leave this episode here. I'm sorry you didn't get to see much except the character creation, but come back in the next episode and you'll see the game proper. But I thought you'd want to see that because the character creation process is very in-depth and very, very good, very well done. But there's a lot in this game, so hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with me, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode where we will begin the game properly.